Today I got this Honda NC50, also known as the Honda Express, and it's got one of the coolest starting mechanisms I've ever seen, and it's actually kind of the reason why I bought it. But besides that, I don't really know anything else about this little moped, apart from the guy who sold it to me told me that he'd worked on a farm, and there used to be an old boy who used it to get around the farm, and that was about it. It got used for a number of years and then got put away in a barn, and then it got left for who knows how long. I've got absolutely no history for it whatsoever. The only thing I have for it is a V5, so I legally do own it. But it's never ever been recorded as having an MOT online, and that came in 2005. So I can quite confidently say it's not been on the road in the past 20 years. The one important thing I do know is that the engine isn't seized.
Unlike all the brake cables, the front wheel being seized but only going backwards, as well as both tyres being completely rotted through, the forks being very rusty, the exhaust looking like it's about to rust through,
And just about everything else.
although I did find out the basket's an expensive optional extra.
But none of that really matters, because all I'm trying to do today is get it running. I think it's almost certain the car's going to need cleaning before this is going to run, so I'm going to have to check that out. But first I'm going to see if it's got spark, and that brings me to the starting mechanism. This isn't a kickstart, even though it looks a little bit like a kickstart, it's not. And it's something that I'd never seen before I saw this little moped, and it was kind of the reason why I bought it. I thought it was pretty cool. There's actually a large coil spring inside here. It's got like a ratchet system, so when you push this lever down, it will ratchet the coil up. And then when you've wound it all the way up, you hit the brake lever, and it will release the spring, and that's what starts it. And that's how I know that this bike at the very least turns over. The problem with these springs is they don't make them anymore, and if it doesn't have enough strength to give us enough turns of the engine, then it won't start. But hopefully, this one sounds like it is turning a few times, so it should be enough to work. I hope. We've got an NGK spark plug cap as well. Nice. So it looks like we got a pretty good spark. Whilst the spark plug's out, I'm going to quickly stick a compression tester on it and see if the engine's still got compression. Okay, I might have to do this a couple of times. I read online that good compression numbers for this engine is, I think, 150 psi, but I think anything over 100 should run. Oh, that looks pretty good to me. We're slap bang in the middle of 125 and 150. So I think maybe 137.5-ish. Well, according to what I've read online, that should be enough.
The next thing I wanted to check out was the air filter and what kind of state that was in.
Ooh, okay. That is kind of, well, that's just turned to mush.
And I realised I probably should have taken this off before I did the compression test.
I hope I didn't suck any of that into the engine just then. This is proper disintegrated. I suppose that's what happens to foam when you leave it in a barn for 20 years. Okay. Oh, that's not even done up. Fuel tap's not even done up. It's a good job there's no fuel in it, I think. Something's leaking out. Oh, that smells rank. That smells so bad. Okay. There's a tiniest little slide. Look how tiny that slide is. You know what, it kind of doesn't look that bad. I don't know whether to just try it and... Is that a good idea?
And here I find myself again. If you saw my last video, you'll have seen me wrestle with the concept of doing it right the first time.
I don't know whether to leave it overnight again or just tip it out now and have a look.
You should definitely leave it overnight.
I'm going to dump it out now.
Or being impatient and ultimately taking longer to do the same job. I wonder what the outcome will be this time.
What do you reckon the chances are that if I just put some fuel to this, it'll start? I was going to go into cleaning it all, but now I'm kind of wondering whether it's worth doing all that yet.
Yeah.
I decided I should probably have a look what the tank looks like as well. Okay. It's not ideal. Right, this tank should have separate oil and fuel, but a common thing with these tanks I've read is that the lining between the two will break, so you'll end up getting the oil go into the fuel. This bike also has a oil pump down here, which feeds directly at the bottom of that oil tank. But a common problem is either for these to seize, or a lot of people like to bypass them because they mix the oil at about 25-1, which at the time in 1979, it would have been good for the level of how good the oils were at the time, but now synthetic oil is so much better than it was. These bikes only really need 40-1, 50-1, and 25 is way too much oil really. So I think what I'm going to do for now, just to get it started, is try and find a way to bypass the pump, and then I'll just mix. I probably won't use this tank because it's quite dirty. I'll get a little auxiliary tank on here instead. Okay, I've been doing a little bit of research and I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the oil pump, and because I'm not going to run this for very long if I do run it, or if it gets running, I'm going to disconnect the oil pump on the other side, which is this little connection here, and then I'm just going to run it with a premix straight into the carb, and then just to see if I can get it running or not.
So now I've removed that oil line, there's an open pipe that goes straight to the side of the slide inside the carb. So I made this little tube just to blank it off.
Okay, I'm back again. I had to charge my lights because they're only running off a leisure battery down there. They were pretty low. One thing I need to check is the battery on these, if it even has one. It should be under this seat because the battery acts as a... Well, I've read the battery acts as a voltage regulator for the lights, so if it doesn't have one and I start it, it will blow all the lights, so I need to disconnect them. Plus, I don't know if even if it has one, I should probably disconnect them anyway, because if it's dead it might not work. Hold on a second. Oh yeah. Oh my god, it's the second key. That's cool. So I've got two keys for this now. Awesome, I thought I only had the one. Seems like a weird place to put it in the seat, because anyone could take it, but I suppose if anyone wanted to take this bike, they could just lift up the whole bike and take it anyway. Right, so it looks like we have got a battery. Does it have anything? I think this is meant to be an acid battery. I can't see if it's got anything in it. I highly doubt this battery's got any power in it whatsoever. I think it's probably a good idea to disconnect the lights anyway, just in case, because I don't want to blow them if they even have bulbs in that aren't blown already. I think first of all though I'm going to take the tank off because I need to clean that anyway. If I do manage to get this thing running, I want to run it off the tank eventually, and it's kind of in the way of the wiring anyway, so I'll just take that off first. Wiring's definitely seen better days. Got this hose connected up, so anything that does come out of the oil pump is just going to go into this hose for the time being, because I've read that you don't want to run them dry, because I think the oil that goes into them also oils the pump. But if I get this going, it's going to be for like a few seconds anyway, so I don't think it's going to do any lasting damage. Well, the bulb's intact. Doesn't look like that one is though. Yeah, that one's blown already. Right, I'm a little bit worried. I've got this old 2-stroke oil, but it's not red. I thought all 2-stroke oil was red. I'm questioning whether this actually is 2-stroke oil. I'm sure it is 2-stroke oil because I don't see why I would have put a different oil in there. So before I get people comment that it's not red, I know it's not red. I haven't got any other 2-stroke oil that actually is red. I think I'm going to try it on this stuff because it does say it's 2-stroke, and then I'm just not going to run it for any length of time on this. So if it isn't 2-stroke, then hopefully it's not going to do any damage. It should be then. Alright, we're hooked up. I'll be absolutely amazed if this thing runs without cleaning the carb, but we'll see. Oh, that wasn't good. Hasn't done that before. Try a bit of choke, even though the cable for the choke's a little bit. Now we're not getting anything. One more try. Okay, that was pretty wishful thinking anyway. I'm going to have to take the carb off and then give it a clean.
So first of all I have to remove the slide and ping the spring out. Then I can remove the choke cable. Then it's just these two 10mm bolts holding the carb on from this side.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the overflow hose, and it just rips completely off. Now, believe it or not, I actually planned ahead with this and thought this was going to happen. So, I bought a genuine Honda, all the way from Japan, carb rebuild O-ring set. So hopefully this has got everything we need in to rebuild this. Ooh, that is very rusty in there. You know what, I should have cleaned the outside of this first.
And I was right. If I was going to have any chance of getting the inside of this carb clean, I'd have to clean the state of the outside of it first.
Now we can start taking it apart.
And the sight of the bowl kind of had me worried what the rest of this carb was going to look like inside.
This tiny little float needle. It's so small. It's in pretty good condition, I think. I mean, what do I know? Doesn't look like you can remove any of these jets. You know, right about now might be quite nice if I had an ultrasonic cleaner, but Unfortunately, because my garage is underneath the coach house, I'm not allowed to have any power going to it, so I can't get one. So we just got to do things the old-fashioned way.
And then I had to get all that rust out the float bowl, and scrubbing wasn't really getting me anywhere, so I decided to use the rust removal solution I made in the last video. But I thought of this idea after I'd taken this screw out, and didn't really put two and two together.
That was really dumb. Obviously I took the screw out the bottom, so it was just going to clearly piss right out the bottom. Why did I not think that was going to happen? Right, I'm putting that screw back in.
And with the float bowl screw back in and a little clean up.
Let's try that again, shall we?
Then when removing the idle speed and mixture adjustment screws, I screwed them gently down until they seated and made a note of how many turns.
It's 1.5, 2 and a tiny bit. Okay. 2 and a tiny bit out. Fair enough.
This way I'll know how many turns to adjust them to when I put them back in. But that's relying on the fact that they were on a good setting anyway.
Half, 1 and nearly a quarter. So 1 and nearly a quarter on that one. So the most interesting thing to me here is I've pulled out a total of 2 O-rings there. I've pulled out only a couple of rings, and there's the one in the screw in there. Why does this pack have so many? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least. There's a little one down there. There's a kind of blanker there. And I'm not seeing any of that on this carb, which is a little worrying because I don't think I can get this apart anymore. Where did they go? Where do they go?
And this is where I made a monumental mistake. I'd watched another video and seen someone else remove the needle jet tube from a similar carb. So in an effort to clean it, I thought I'd do the same thing with mine.
Supposedly, looking at that guy's video, this piece should come out the centre as well if I can get it out.
But these bikes have various carbs over the many years they were made, and the carb in the video wasn't the same as mine.
He used a Golf tee. I don't have a Golf tee. I might try one of these on the end of a screwdriver.
And if it hurts to watch this next bit, watching it back hurts me too.
Just so I don't damage it.
You know what, if it doesn't work, just hit it a bit harder. You damn idiot.
Oh, where did that come from? Got a little ring just came out. Where did that come from?
Then comes the slow realisation of what I've just done.
Oh shit. Right, well, I've smashed the end of this off. It went straight through that. And it has absolutely... It has absolutely destroyed that in there. There's no way that's going to run now. Do you reckon you can get them for a 1979 moped?
I'll let you into a little secret. You can't.
That's so stupid.
As you can see here, this little emulsion tube comes up into the throat of the carb, and I think it being round is pretty important to how the fuel is drawn up around the needle that goes in it. And I'm thinking there's very little chance this is going to work now it's in this state.
Alright, there is a little O-ring down in there as well. That'll be where this little piece came from. Problem is, what I've done now is I've damaged it, but I've kind of smushed it over, so I can't push that tube through now without getting rid of this little piece in the way. The little piece has just come off there, look. The video I watched, the guy just popped his right out with a Golf tee. I don't know why mine's been so stubborn. Oh, well, he's got an adjustable main jet, which I do not have. Is that not even meant to come out? Because his looks removable and mine doesn't. Oh no. Have I tried to remove something that's completely unremovable anyway? You're joking. What an idiot. Right, I hopefully haven't completely ruined this carb. There is a little tiny hole down there. You can see just at the bottom next to the one I've smashed up. And that one appears to be blocked. It feels like it's blocked when I try and stick this guitar wire through it. And that's the one that comes out of this next to the main jet. I think this must be the pilot jet, maybe?
To begin with, the guitar wire wouldn't go through this hole, so I gave it a few squirts of carb cleaner, and eventually I managed to get it all the way through.
Yeah, it's definitely gone through now. Yeah, I think it is full of crap. It's only just wanting to go through. There you go.
Then I tried refitting the slide to make sure the needle didn't catch on that bit I'd broken.
I mean, the slide does still move. It's probably going to mess up all the fueling though. That was so stupid. I don't know why I did that, and that's why you don't force things. Kind of come to the conclusion that I'm probably never going to find another one of those tubes. I'm not sure if you're even meant to try and take it out of these carbs. It looks like the video I was watching, the guy had a removable jet and you could change them, but I think this is just the set size and you can't. So that may have buggered it, but what I'm going to do is the needle still goes down inside that tube. I'm going to clean the bottom of the bowl, put it all back together, and then still see if it tries to start, because the jets were blocked and they're clear now, so hopefully it'll start. But I don't know. Live and learn, I guess.
I moved on to cleaning the bowl. And I hadn't left the rust cleaner I made in my last video in there that long, but it did a pretty good job considering how bad it was.
Well, I do want to do a better job than that, but I do really want to try and get this started, and it's getting a little bit late now.
I thought I could just about get this wire brush in there, and then I realised this whole time I've been wasting time.
Just remembered, why am I doing this when I literally have a Dremel?
And then suddenly, as soon as there was power involved and I was actually getting results, this job became a lot more fun.
Might got a little bit carried away. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it was.
So then I could grab the seal kit and start rebuilding this carb, starting with the float bowl drain screw.
Haha, that's better.
Then I can put the seal on the float bowl, put the bowl on, and then add the screws. Oh, did you catch it? Because I didn't the first time.
Do you know what? It really helps if you put the float back in. I literally did this on the KLR video. I'm pretty sure I did the same thing where I just forgot to put the thing back in.
So not forgetting to attach the float needle to the float this time, as well as the little bar that acts as a hinge, I can secure these down with the little retaining screw. And it all seems to move freely, so now the bowl can go back on, again. Then I can fit the brand new O-ring for the idle mixture screw. Then I can fit the screw that controls the bloody fuel mix. Not forgetting to screw it all the way in until it gently seats, and then back it off to the number of turns we counted earlier. But you can't remember the number of turns you counted earlier, and you were too lazy to write it down. So instead you have to go back through hours of footage to find it, which was way less effort.
I can't remember, if I'm honest. I'm going to have to look back at what I set it as. It's probably going to be all messed up anyway because of this needle, but we shall see.
Then we can fit the brand new O-ring to the carb and then fit it back onto the intake.
I'm going to be absolutely gobsmacked if this runs. If this runs like this, I'm going to be amazed. But it'll be pretty cool. It'd be nice if it does run, but I don't think it will. And if it does, that's great. Probably not going to run well, but if it doesn't, then I'm going to have to start thinking about how I'm going to source some bits, I think, or whether or not that's even possible to. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose.
I guess we will. So I'll put the spring back on the throttle tube, and then I can fit the slide again. I didn't trust that other oil, so I did go out and get some actual red
two-stroke oil, because I couldn't find any reference to Yamaha saying they ever made a clear two-stroke oil, so I didn't trust it.
So after applying a little bit of oil to the slide just for good measure, then that can go back in and I can check the throttle still works.
Do we have a working throttle? Kind of grindy, but that'll do. Okay, attempt number 2. As you can see, we've got red oil this time. I'll be amazed if this thing runs. We'll see. Let's have a look. Right then, attempt number 2. I was hoping it would go on the first one. That would be fine, wouldn't it? Bit of choke. Nope. Okay, it started to like rev up on its own then, probably the choke. Let me take the choke off and try again. It might be something to do with that bit I damaged, the needle, and the fact it hasn't got a filter on it, but try a little bit of choke, because we're definitely getting too much air. Okay, let's try full choke again, because that worked. That is awesome. That's so good. That runs better than I thought it would, even with the damaged, was it emulsion jet I think it's called, emulsion tube? Even with the damaged emulsion tube it seems to run pretty good. That's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that. I am underneath a coach house, so there's people who live above and it's about 9 o'clock. It is a Saturday, but I don't want to piss them off, so I'm going to do it one more time and then I'm going to have to stop for tonight. It is very quiet though. I am still directly underneath them. Okay, throttling, applying a little bit of throttle just makes it bog down. I really wasn't expecting that. Had a few cock-ups with braking things, but I was not expecting it to start, so that's quite good. That's quite a positive thing, I guess. I absolutely love this thing, and I think it would be hilarious fun to ride it. With it being over 40 years old, it's 45 years old. In the UK, this bike is tax and MOT exempt, so I don't have to get a roadworthiness test on it, and I don't have to tax it. And I think it'd be a crime not to get it back on the road, don't you?